Yeah, Goo, you got me thinking about that question you asked me before the show. Is, Stein, if you were Garoppolo, you wouldn't be back. But you know what? And I'm going to be honest here. If there was a point when apparently John Lynch said to Kyle, what do you think about Jimmy? And Kyle said, essentially, oh, no chance he's going to be interested. And Lynch was like, well, it doesn't hurt to ask. And then they approached Garoppolo, and he was open to it. So if at the time they first approached Garoppolo, Shanahan, if he was conciliatory and he struck all the right chords, yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't know what Kyle said exactly. But maybe he said, you know what, it kind of sucks the way it's worked out for you, and maybe we bear some of the responsibility. But, look, we got, our situation. You know where Trey's at. You know it's going to be a long season trying to keep him healthy. We could try to do this thing together again, and, But the other, let's not forget, what were his other options?
And, okay, I give you that. But why I brought it up to you and the guy that I think you are, and I know, Steiny, and I'm not judging you. I can't judge, and I got to be careful here, too, because I don't want to come across here, and we all know I'm not perfect. I've made many mistakes. I think I'm looking past Kyle, and I'm looking at Jimmy going from number 1 to number 2 when technically that wasn't the right move, nor did number 2 outplay you to the degree to where there should be a switch. So in my world, my pea-brain, Steiny, I care about that stuff. I would have said deuces. And I would be financially not better off, but I would have said deuces because I wouldn't have been able to, and again, it wouldn't have been shame, but it would have been personal shame of those cameras looking at me holding a clipboard, knowing I just took my team to an NFC championship game. I took them to a Super Bowl, and this how y'all repay me? You're going to have me behind this rookie? And that would have been my fault, and I've made that decision in my life many of times, but I wouldn't have signed up for that. Jimmy did, because he didn't give a damn about ego and the stuff I'm talking about. And I know he's not dancing on this season's grave by Trey Lance not being available, but look at him now. He's a starter, and he's auditioning probably for his paycheck next year, Steiny, and he may win a Super Bowl doing it.
I'm actually starting to take offense to you saying that I would have said deuces.
Because you're a captain.
No.
It's almost a compliment.
So
it is a compliment, Steiny. It ain't almost.
See it.
No, I disagree. It's not a compliment.
I'm telling you how I perceive it. Dude you are, you ain't playing no.
What I'm saying, no. Okay, so if and I've had a problem with a coach before.
Right.
I don't necessarily think that Garoppolo and Shanahan have a beef or anything, but there was a point when I was like, I'm just not. I'm quitting. I'm not playing anymore. And my assistant coach took me out to lunch. And he said, you can't allow one person to make you not play basketball if you love basketball.
Right.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. One guy is going to make you do that. So clearly, Garoppolo just used his... After all the emotions die, and I went back on the team.
Yeah.
After all the emotions die down, you have to take a look at it in a different light, the light that is reality at that moment. And you got to maybe bite the bullet and say, okay, I'm going to make 6.5. I don't think Trey's going to be allowed to last I don't think he's going to last the year. I've seen him, how he plays.
He could never voice that, but that would be obviously in his thought process.
Of course.
Yeah, not wanting him to get hurt.
Well,
you know what I mean? Yeah, but
that's not even a big deal.
Carson Wentz when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. You think he was telling his wife, honey, I want this dude to go out, throw 4 touchdowns, and they win a Super Bowl without me captaining the ship?
He knew that wasn't going to happen. Because he had watched Trey all year, and he knew Trey wasn't ready. And that's probably why he was upset.
And he made the right decision. I wouldn't have.
Well, what would you have been doing right now? Watching
sitting
games
on the couch
TV?
and probably thinking about, man, talking to my agent.
About
hopefully
what?
I'll get picked up next year or somebody goes down this year. But I'm being so real with you and the listeners, Steiny.
I don't get this about you.
And I'm going to give you something to where okay.
You've been a professional.
I think I got you on the hot seat. It ain't a hot seat, but I think I got something for you. Okay.
Like you said it the other day. You just don't burn bridges.
Right.
You wouldn't have burned a bridge.
But the bridge burned me. And that would have hurt.
But you've never burned a bridge in your life.
Oh, I have.
Oh, you have?
Yes, I have. Yes, and I'm going to give you one that we talked about. You said, Guru, what if Matt Nahagian came in here and there was some hotshot new host in Texas and he came here and he was going to take some of our time? How would you feel about that? What if he came in, Nahagian, and said, hey, this dude that I went to school with is going to be on your show, but we're going to have you do weekends? Would you go back to weekends happy, or would you say, you know what, if you're taking me off from 12 to 3, I don't want weekend, I'm out? I would do, I don't want weekend, I'm out. And I think that was what Jimmy was looking at. And to his credit and my amazement, that's why I'm giving him kudos. Because he took his ego and all that out of the situation and was going to hold the clipboard. He was going to do that. And it may have been, and go ahead, I hear the but. Because I'm getting a lot of heat on the text line like, "Ooh, you're not giving Steiny a compliment."
But when Garoppolo heard that this is the way he didn't find out they were going to Lance, and then the next day, hey, can we have you? We want you back. That took months. Jimmy thought he was gone. The 49ers thought he was gone too.
Okay.
Surgery. Things are drying up. Like he wasn't at the point where he was in emotion. He had been 6 months into the process, was looking at, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to get picked up this year.
Right. And I'm not saying that's the way to go, but if he had an ego, and we know what that means, forget me, some would have said, I'm not coming back to be a backup when I don't deserve to be. That's all.
The other thing is, it's not like
kudos
they said
to Jimmy, Steiny.
Well, no, if you want to use the radio analogy, it would be like, Steiny, we're bringing somebody in here. We think he's better than you, but you might not, and we're gonna put you on weekends.
Okay, gotcha.
And they say that's going to start 6 months from now. So you decide what you want to do. So I don't have to decide right now.
Right.
I don't. At that point, I'm not going to say hit the bricks.
Yeah.
So time goes by, and now all of a sudden, and now it's a month before I got to start full time on weekends. And Nahagian goes, "Hey, I know you're thinking of rolling, but any chance you start out on weekends? And look, you know how this business is. Something happens with one of my, starting five. We're going to go to you. I'll go to you. Okay, it's better than what I had.
Yeah. Okay, that was phenomenal, and I agree with that. But will you give me this? I'm not a Martian. I'm not on an island by myself. Are there quarterbacks you think in this league that would have told the Niners, I'm not coming back once they found out they were going to be demoted, that had this success Jimmy had?
Yes.
Okay, that's
better quarterbacks than Jimmy.
All right.
See, that's the thing about Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think he thinks he's a great quarterback. He knows who he is in this league.
That's interesting you say
that.
And
he wouldn't be comfortable going into this season unemployed because there's a part of him that knows nobody's banging down my door.
But there's also, Steiny, to that, we'll play it when we come back here. He knows he's being maybe not let Jimmy cook. Like I believe Jimmy believes there's another side of him as a quarterback that can throw the ball or try to throw the ball downfield that this man, Kyle Shanahan, has not let him. Let him. Juice said it.
No, but who's the coach? Who's the team?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, exactly. He doesn't have one.
Because it ain't the one right now he's playing for. He can't even audible, Steiny. And to me, I'll run the show.
We got. Let me tell you what's going on today. We got what time we got Cam and Brandon? Real quick. Cam Inman 2:00. Brandon Stokely, former 1,000-yard receiver, 3 times with the Broncos, and he does radio in Denver. We're going to talk about the Broncos with Brandon Stokely at 1:30. Let me ask you, 49er fans, what's Jimmy? Do we know what Jimmy Garoppolo's mindset is right now? Do you think that he's just out the door the minute he gets a chance to go out the door? Could this thing become more permanent? Do you have any doubt that he's pissed off? Or is he? Or is he okay? What's Jimmy thinking?